Consider this. You're always walking on a tightrope, desperately attempting to avoid the chaos below. That's the emotion you could receive while engaging with someone who doesn't understand you or your point of view. Don't you find it draining? But what if I told you that Stoicism, an ancient school of thinking, holds insights that could transform your interactions with these challenging people, allowing you to remain calm and collected? Today's in-depth talk will focus on how to conduct effective interactions with narcissists that are not one-sided. Join me as we discuss efficient techniques for saving time and energy, as well as strengthening your relationships by establishing boundaries. Let's compare these ways side by side, utilizing a timeless piece of advice on how to react openly and resiliently. If you enjoy the methods and insights we're discussing here, please do me a small favor and click the subscribe button. Furthermore, you should not miss a single frame of this video because, well, you are unique among those attempting to regain control of this situation and, by extension, of themselves. Number 1. How to have healthy relationships without labels. If you notice certain features in another person, such as a lack of empathy or excessive self-centeredness, it may be tempting to label them as a narcissist. You may believe that drawing attention to this will serve as a spark, resulting in an insight or a resolve to change your behavior. Nonetheless, let us contact the Stoics for their thoughts on the topic. Marcus Aurelius stated, "It is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them." Importantly, classifying someone as a narcissist does not necessarily have the same influence on our experiences as our labels and judgments. Labeling someone is more likely to elicit defensiveness and aggression than to help them become self-aware or change their conduct. Carl Jung once famously stated, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." This concept is supported by psychology. This implies that our behaviors, particularly the need to label, disclose more about our personal boundaries and sensitivities than about supporting the other person. If you call someone a narcissist, they may cease speaking with you. If you wish to strengthen the relationship or encourage understanding, retaliation or withdrawal are unhelpful. Rather, a Stoic would advise us to focus on our own actions and emotions because we have control over them. The Greek philosopher stated that men are disturbed not by things, but by the principles and notions which they form concerning things. When you avoid categorizing and instead focus on dealing with the situation with knowledge and distance, you may be able to open up more fruitful talks. Furthermore, being detached from other people's interactions does not suggest that you are uncaring. Rather, it is a sort of resilience that can aid in the maintenance of your inner peace. To paraphrase Seneca, the mind that is anxious about future events is miserable. To maintain your composure and effectiveness, stop stressing about how to change the other person and instead focus on how to connect with them. In fact, this includes having discussions focused on specific behaviors and their repercussions rather than lingering on character flaws. Rather than blaming or accusing, discuss how specific behaviors make you feel. Aristotle valued the golden mean, sometimes known as a good middle ground. Keeping one's emotions under control while communicating honestly is critical here. This strategy encourages open conversation and the opportunity of personal growth without the limits that come with labels. Finally, remember that being intelligent entails choosing your words carefully and devoting your energies toward activities that promote understanding rather than fostering differences. This strategy is supported by Stoic philosophy as well as current psychological advice. Practicing the age-old adage, taking charge of what you can control and letting go of the rest, results in happier relationships and inner peace. Number 2, cultivating inner strength and clarity. Understanding the dynamics at play is critical when addressing how to resolve interpersonal conflicts, especially when dealing with someone who may be manipulating the situation by distorting reality. The victim of gaslighting is unlikely to accept responsibility for their actions or change their behavior after being accused of it, especially if they are narcissistic. In keeping with the Stoic idea that we have no control over how other people view or behave, but only over how we react to them, it is possible that they will be unaware that what they are doing is incorrect. As Epictetus wisely observed, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. This advice is especially useful if you're feeling misled. Listening and watching attentively is more useful than confronting the behavior with accusations, which may exacerbate the problem. Because the other person will vigorously defend their perception, this method allows you to maintain your grasp on truth while avoiding open confrontation. Marcus Aurelius stated that you are the master of your own thoughts, not the world around you. Knowing this will give you the strength you require. When you wish to accuse someone of gaslighting, keep these words in mind. Rather than trying to persuade others of the truth of their deceitful techniques, your strength should be in retaining your own reality and perspective. The accused person's defensiveness or manipulativeness intensifies in response to allegations, exacerbating the conflict or manipulation. You should instead prioritize your emotional and mental well-being. Another psychological reason why confronting gaslighters directly typically backfires is that, as Carl Jung says, knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. Rather than seeking to change or confront the manipulative behavior of others, it may be more beneficial to understand your own behaviors and emotional triggers. Maintaining your composure in the face of adversity becomes simpler when you develop yourself to be self-aware and resilient. You can also use Socrates' strategy of asking probing questions to bring out your interlocutor's errors in thinking. Asking honest, non-confrontational questions about the anomalies you've found can be a more diplomatic option to making explicit accusations. This manner, you may keep the channels of communication open and possibly persuade the other person to admit when they're inconsistent. It's normal to want to confront gaslighting head-on, but a more effective strategy is to follow the Stoics' example and focus on self-control and integrity maintenance. You can safeguard your mental health and stay ahead of the game in these complex dynamics by maintaining your perspective and avoiding unnecessary debates. You can't control what other people do. What matters is how you react. Number 3. Letting go of fixed beliefs about others. After dealing with someone numerous times and witnessing habits that appear permanent, you may conclude that they cannot possibly change. Every time I want to say, "You'll never change," I resist the desire. If you push them with the idea that they are incapable of change, you may believe that they will change. Let us now explore this belief from a Stoic perspective to discover why it may not be the wisest course of action. Stoicism teaches being attentive of one's own behavior and reactions, practicing restraint and accepting others for who they are rather than attempting to change them. When you say someone is incapable of change, you not only limit their potential for progress, but you also tie your expectations to an unchanging perception of their character. This can result in a situation in which neither party is ready to adjust, impeding any possibility of development. Furthermore, claiming that someone will remain unchanged can generate a protective or adversarial reaction. Instead than prompting them to reflect or reconsider their actions, this may reinforce their current behavior owing to emotions of rejection or miscommunication. The Stoics believe that coping with undesirable behaviors requires emotional distance. Just because you don't care about the outcome doesn't mean you should give up wishing for the best or advocating for positive change. Rather than criticizing or forecasting negative outcomes, you can promote and urge change by providing positive reinforcement and serving as an example. Also, everything is subject to change, and changes do occur, but not always in the ways we desire or expect. This is something that the Stoic concept of impermanence helps us recall. You can grow closer to this principle and preserve inner calm by keeping your expectations modest and remaining open to the possibility of change. When dealing with someone you believe is resistant to change, it is important to focus on specific actions or situations rather than condemning their character as a whole. Communicate your desires and feelings without making it appear as if their character is irreparably harmed. Instead, speak calmly and honestly about their actions and the repercussions. Maintaining a balanced perspective increases the likelihood of engaging in meaningful conversation while adhering to the Stoic virtues of knowledge, fairness, fearlessness, and moderation. Staying silent when someone tells you they will never change is not the same as hoping for a miraculous turnaround. The goal is to keep your emotions under control and focus on maintaining an objective perspective that allows you and others to adjust to changing situations. By remaining flexible, you may adapt to any new situation with ease and elegance, exemplifying the Stoic principle of harmony with nature, both our own and others. Number 4. Finding inner peace through Stoic wisdom. In partnerships characterized by narcissistic behavior, discussing forgiveness, or the lack thereof, can be difficult. Stoicism urges us to deal with such situations by focusing on inner tranquility rather than expressing criticism or mercy to others. Someone once stated, "Be tolerant of others and strict with yourself." It was Marcus Aurelius. This implies that forgiving someone is basically about taking care of oneself rather than getting caught up in the other person's misbehavior. Expressing your reluctance to forgive someone is more likely to exacerbate the situation than improve it. It has the ability to exacerbate tensions and leave individuals feeling horrible about themselves. The Stoic viewpoint, which draws on the teachings of Epictetus and other thinkers, maintains that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you decide not to forgive someone, you are reacting adversely rather than positively. Although you may get a brief sense of justification, this rarely leads to personal peace or improvement in the situation. Furthermore, one way to view forgiveness in Stoicism is as a practice of acknowledging the flaws and mistakes of others. Seneca said, "To err is human, to forgive, divine." This does not imply that you must forgive all the time, but it does imply that you should be able to do so or not. When you are compassionate and understanding, rather than angry or vindictive. Declaring your non-forgiveness while interacting with someone who demonstrates narcissistic tendencies is inconsistent with the Stoic goal of gaining virtue and emotional resilience. Aristotle introduces the golden mean, or the virtue of maintaining a balance between excess and deficiency, in this context. This involves striking a balance when it comes to forgiving someone, as there are two extremes: holding a grudge and never letting go, or forgiving too early and not admitting true blame. You maintain a level head that allows for objective evaluation of relationships and your own emotional well-being by refusing to overtly express your non-forgiveness. According to Carl Jung, integrating shadow aspects is psychologically important for individuation and personal evolution. He contends that recognizing the shadow sides of ourselves and others without immediately responding or passing judgment allows us to gain deeper insights and emotional development. This idea is consistent with emotional distancing or silent forgiveness, which is to acknowledge the hurtful behavior while choosing a healing path that avoids confrontation. Thinking about what acts you can accept, how to set healthy boundaries, and how to move forward with or without that person in your life is more practical than telling them you are completely unforgiving. This does not imply that you are ignoring the unpleasant things that have happened to you. Rather, it indicates that you have decided to focus on improving yourself rather than waiting for the other person to admit or apologize. Although it may feel liberating to carry grudges, doing so frequently leads to more internal conflict than it resolves. The Stoic technique would encourage us to prosper regardless of others' behavior by establishing an atmosphere of personal virtue, emotional distance, and inner peace. In this way, we may maintain our composure and establish ourselves when dealing with complex interpersonal relationships. We much appreciate your presence here today. By embracing the Stoic traits of knowledge and emotional resilience, I hope these insights help you navigate your relationships with greater calm and understanding. Remember that you are strong enough and that every interaction is an opportunity to show the world what you stand for. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more of the same type of content, a list of recommended videos appears on screen. We are immensely grateful to everyone who has joined the Stoic Journal family. We find our way to inner serenity as a community via shared learning and growth. Please be well, and I'll see you in the following video.